Hello and welcome to this week's Power Engineering International Newscast. I'm Dermot Williams. In today's power generation news, landmark growth for global wind energy, Germany cautious but reassured on Belgian nuclear power plant status, solar firms take on UK government over subsidy cuts, and Prysmian in $271 million cable deal to link Denmark and the Netherlands. The European Wind Energy Association and Bloomberg New Energy Finance have produced separate reports showing the relative health of the global wind energy sector, with data indicating a 25% growth in 2014, reaching a landmark capacity of 62,000 megawatts. In Europe, the UK relinquished its crown as the leaders in offshore wind. The country finished second to Germany for the first time, with 556 megawatts of installed offshore capacity compared to Germany's 2,282 megawatts last year. But there are mitigating circumstances. The UK still has the most installed offshore wind power in Europe at 5,061 megawatts to Germany's total of 3,295 megawatts. And while the UK had attracted more investment than Germany last year, installed less capacity as Germany cleared a backlog built up in 2014. Overall, offshore wind investment in Europe doubled to €13.3 billion last year, but a dip in grid connections is expected to halt that momentum in 2016. From a global perspective, China's record was most impressive last year, installing 29,000 megawatts, a 40% increase on its previous record. Staying with Germany, that country's Environment Minister Barbara Hendricks says she was reassured for now over the safety of neighbouring Belgium's nuclear power plants after talks with Belgian Minister Jan Jambon. A follow-up meeting is planned for later this month. Worries were expressed about the structural integrity of the plants following the Belgian decision to extend the lives of 40-year-old Doel reactors until 2025 under a deal to preserve jobs and invest in the transition to a cleaner energy. Microfractures had been discovered in pressure vessels at two sites, while another reactor was shut down in 2014 following suspected sabotage in its turbine hall. Two of the UK's largest solar firms took on the government in court on Tuesday over early closure of the renewables obligation to large-scale solar projects. The government launched its plans to prematurely end RO for large-scale projects, with a consultation in May 2014. When closure of the scheme was later confirmed, it was ruled that solar power companies that had not met certain criteria, such as having planning permission, by the time the consultation started would not qualify for the remaining subsidy, even though this was to run until April 2015. Solar Century and Lark Energy argued that the subsidies were cut in a sudden retrospective nature, introducing a level of political risk for which no investor or company can adequately prepare. The companies argue that having this grace period start when the consultation was launched, rather than after the legislation is officially passed, counts as retrospective legislative change, which they claim is unfair. Finally, Italian cable company Prysmian has won a $271 million deal for a high-voltage direct current submarine interconnector that will link Denmark and the Netherlands. The Cobra cable is being developed by TenneT and its Danish counterpart Energinet, and is intended to increase the security of supply of both countries. The cable will run along a 325-kilometre route from Eemshaven in the Netherlands to Endrup in Denmark via the German sector of the North Sea. That's all from this week's newscast. Keep up to date with daily global power generation news on our website and with your peers on our LinkedIn group.